Hey YouTubers, how you guys doing? I just thought I would just do a random afternoon chat. No topic or anything. I don't even know if I'm gonna stay on. I don't know, was feeling like chatting maybe for a couple of minutes or whatever. I don't know. I was watching that chapter. I don't know if anybody ever watches that. It's like a true crime, channel. It's like this Irish guy named Mike. He's pretty funny. I mean, not that true crime is funny. It's just the way you know, his expressions and everything. He's pretty good with his expressions. um, like his look of shock and distaste and everything. Um, of course, his accent is pretty neat too. So I like listening to him. He's he's good at what he does. Um, and they're very informative. He had that. I was watching that episode of Rodney Alcala. Um, he was on the dating game. Remember that? And he actually won. Like in 1978, he was on the dating game, and he'd already murdered a bunch of women. And and what kills me is, so here he is, um, on the dating game, and in 1979 is when he actually got arrested for, his serial killing, right? And luckily, the girl that picked him on the dating game, after talking to him for a little while, she thought he was weird and creepy and didn't go out on the date. Fortunately, right? For her, God knows. I mean, the whole story could have been different. It would have been like, that she, uh, dating game contestant goes missing, you know, like amazing. And another thing I found amazing was that in 1968, he had actually kidnapped a like 8-year-old girl from, she was walking to school and he kidnapped her, but one of her neighbors saw him, saw her get in the car with this guy, and well, because he had convinced her that he knew her family, and so he followed, the neighbor followed and saw the little girl go in this apartment with the guy, Rodney Ocala. And so the police go, he calls the police. The police bust into the apartment and get this though. So they find the little girl in a pool of blood. Now, what kills me too is like, even though I like that, showed that chapter, he didn't really elaborate anymore on that particular story. And maybe I'll do a little research myself because it kind of shocked me that, you know, he escaped. Rodney Ocala escaped from when the police were there at his apartment, and that particular TV show is or not TV show, but channel show, whatever, didn't go into why she was in a pool of blood. She was alive, but they didn't elaborate anymore on the fact that this guy escapes, okay? He goes to New York and he gets mentored like in photography by oh my god, one that was oh my god, it's right on the tip of my tongue. The one that was married to Sharon Tate. Oh god. What was his name? He was the can't think of it right now. Oh my god, it's right on the tip of my tongue. It was like a foreign name. And they made him leave the country too. Something to do with young girls. Oh my God, what was his name? He was a director. famous, married to Sharon Tate when she got murdered by, Charles Manson. There, he's the family there. Um, it is so Roman Polanski. Roman Polanski. That was so. Was like he was actually friends with this Ronnie Alcala out in New York City. So then 10 years later, this guy comes back, and although he was under an alias in New York and he murdered people there, he comes back and under his own name 10 years later is on the dating game. So what happened to the fact that, he had tried to kidnap and a little girl was found in a pool of blood in his apartment 10 years earlier? Hey, Minnie, how you doing? How are you today? I hope you're doing good. How's the weather where you are? It's nice out today. Totally clear sky. I went out with my dog and he was loving it. He was loving it. It's a little windy, at that time anyway. It was a little earlier, but the sun was nice and warm. Good when the sun gives you the vitamin D and stuff that you need. I heard that you're supposed to be out in the sun at least for a certain amount of minutes a day. It's supposed to help for, your mood and stuff like that. But I don't know. I try it. I went up on my deck, to take a look at I'm alright, I guess, just whenever things are different. But it's important to know how you are, Minnie. I like to know how the people are too. Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what they say. The vitamin D from the sun is good. And I went up on my little patio to check. Well, I wanted to see if I still had any potting soil and my plant pots. And I noticed one of them must have blown off like a little stool I had and was upside down, but I kind of broke. But I still can get the soil and use it. But I don't think I remember to buy any seeds this year, and I still got to. I like growing sunflowers though; they grow fast. Yeah, and this year I was watching a show. Uh, do something like read a book while sunbathing. The time just flies. Yeah, I do. It was windy though, like it was warm in the sun, but it was just windy. But I watched this thing where they had roasted those massive sunflowers, and they took like the head of one. Make sure to get time away from your phone. So I know it's so bad. I mean, it is bad, isn't it? That radiation from the phones. You are so right. And they knew that too before they even put them all out and everything. They knew it. And they probably just get worse and worse and worse, as like they say they're upgrading them and, making them better. But they probably I just can't even imagine how. Hey, while you're here in Lemon, what do you think about those um, obelisks, like that one in Central Park? And they say that they have, like they're a working apparatus. Like it's 4,000 years old. I mean, that's incredible to me. And they say it's a working apparatus as a modern day pylon or something like a receiver and a transmitter. I think that's amazing. Like, what were they receiving and transmitting 4,000 years ago? That's what I'm wondering. Like, were they, like, that's just, I'd love to see. Maybe I should reread the Bible and, like, see if they mention anything. Oh, yeah, right? I know. send you the link to the Cleopatra needle you're talking about? That Cleopatra's needle? Yeah, because it's so. I don't know if you've ever like watched that America's on Earth. That's the first thing. Yeah, I would think so too. Because I keep going through my head. I definitely will. I wonder if I could. Well, no, I think I would lose my link if I look for it now. Maybe, but it's all you do is you just type in Cleopatra's needle in Central Park. And it's amazing to me that there's something that is 4,000 years old. They say the Masons brought it over in 1881. And it's like watching it with 20 leaves out way too much. But I'm wondering if, like, without knowing about Cleopatra's Needle, if I wasn't looking for it in there. Because it said that there is different, names like carved into it, like Ptolemy, and they say that it was um, Julius Caesar. I think they said was who like took it out of the. Listen, I'll find where I took it. I keep over and over in my head thinking, what were they receiving and transmitting? It's 240 tons and 70 feet. And it says that it was the obelisk is is from 1479 BC. Yeah, obelisk. I say it probably wrong. Obelisk, obelisk. I think maybe is how you say it. I think I'm saying it wrong. I keep saying obelisk, but I think it's obelisk. I keep messing it up, but uh, and the one in London is made just before the time of Christ. The Freemasons on February 22nd, 1881, did a formal presentation of it. It had lain in sand, toppled by the Persian in Heliopolis, reemerged by Julius Caesar, and it also has like the name for uh the Pharaoh Ramses. I think that is amazing that it's right there in Central Park. And wow, says it's a worth. It's just a it had a high gold content, and there was evidence of it being scorched. And the bottom was not stable anymore. So at some point, they had put these bronze crabs to stabilize the bottom. They were 922 pounds. So when they got there and they wanted to take it, they are built on ley line. It's kind of hard to explain how magic works. What does that mean? Ley lines? Is that spelled right? Ley? I mean, I don't know, because I'm not sure. Hey Ben, how you doing? Do you want to come on the panel, Lemon, and talk about it? Cause wow, see that makes sense. So I feel like the phones have something magnetism in them. Like, is lithium magnetized? I'm not sure. Do you want to come up on the panel and talk about that? Because you're very intelligent, and I know you've probably, researched this even before I brought it up. You probably already know more than me, you know? So I'd be really interested in talking with, like, and I know you're not shy. You go on panels. I can drop the link. I'm going to drop it anyway, and then you can just decide if you do want to come up, because I find you very fascinating. Because you know a lot about a lot of topics, you know? So you're interesting to listen to. So I'm just going to put it in there. Yeah, because I keep going through. Oh, so when they were going to bring this, at least, it says they They offered it as protection from the U.S. Egypt did offered it as protection from the U.S. Isn't that weird? Like, were we threatening the internet research stuff is my favorite topic. I like research. I really do. I can't deny that I love researching and just getting lost. It's like going down a rabbit hole, and especially with the internet, when they have certain links, you can just click that link and you're like, oh, well, I want to find out about that too. I want to find out about that. So I actually have like a notebook. You'll hear me flipping through pages because, and you know what kills me, Lemon, is that when I was in school, um, I didn't, I guess I wasn't, it was different. I feel like I could have applied myself more and I didn't. And then when my sister passed away, and I'm not using any excuse or anything, but when my sister passed away and we sold the house and moved, in England, you're out of school at 16. So, you know, that just seemed like, eh. But now I feel like I can't get enough, especially history. I mean, I love history. It's just, to me, wow. I'm not a big math fan. Some people love math. I'm not a big math fan at all. Math is hard nowadays. Were you good in school? I feel like school is too, I don't know, maybe textbook? If that makes sense. Like, they just, I think you got to make it fun if you're a teacher. You got to make it, where people you got to be excited and passionate about what you're teaching. I wouldn't mind being a teacher, but not I'd like to be a teacher in like college or something. Yeah, exactly. They've got like a agenda, like, and they teach the same and everything is the same. And I just feel like when they're saying about, like saying, read this book, but they had this book is the same book every year or the same thing. Like A Wrinkle in Time. Is that the name of the book? I didn't read that, but my daughter was assigned it in like when in younger class. But I did try to read it because usually I would read every book. And the bad one eventually took over. What about education types? Do you mean? And the bad one eventually took over. Yeah, it's like um, this Wrinkle in Time. That is the name. I think. Yeah, Wrinkle in Time. Fix the wrinkle. Um. Anyway, my daughter had to read it. Usually, I would read every book that yeah, I think it did take over. You're right, because they don't teach cursive anymore in school, from what I've been told. Um, they, you know, they're not focusing enough on English and all that. I don't think so. My daughter said that they could definitely use a financial literacy class, teaching about like they used to. I don't know how old you are, but when I was in school, they would do things like, show you how to write out a check or balance a statement. It's always good to have paper trails of things. I mean, you can't always trust electronic things to not go down and lose your information. It's good to have paper trails. That's actually, remember when you would get the statement from the bank, and you would have your checkbook and it would be balancing your checkbook, right? But now people just take the word and not to mention how your information could get stolen. And a lot of these banks and these companies, they don't even tell you. Because I was getting text messages from my bank, right? But turns out it wasn't my bank saying, oh, this, and, click here. Now, see, I won't click anything if I'm suspicious about it. I'll call the, place I'll call and see. Because a lot of places will say that they would never send out a text like that. You'll never receive this, you'll never receive that. So I won't click on a link like that. So the lady said, oh, well, oh, here's the thing. It wasn't my bank. It was not my bank. Okay. I mean, I have a bank, but it wasn't my bank, but it was coming to me from, a bank that is a real bank, um, that was acting like as if I did have an account there. And that's what was strange to me. So I called and I said, I didn't call any number that was in that text. I, looked it up, the real live bank, talked to a live person, and they said, oh, no, that's actually been going on for the, last couple of weeks. People have been receiving text messages that look like they're from us, but don't click the link. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, before I had called, I actually did Google to see if there was any kind of concern going on lately, like if there's anything like that going on, okay, for that particular bank. And there was no news releases or anything like that, or not even a news release, just something from them releasing that, you know, in the recent, time they've been having people receiving text messages that might look like they're from them, a valid business. Nothing like that. So I just wonder how many people did click the link and they were just like, oh, well, a lot of places too, when there's like a breach in security and people's information gets taken, they don't even let people know then. But Lemon, if you're still here, what do you think back then, 4,000 years ago, were they receiving and transmitting? Like, where do you think they were receiving and transmitting to? Do you think it's possible they could have had, like I know maybe our first thought come to mind was, oh, maybe they believed in UFOs or other beings out somewhere else and we're trying to, get that. But do you think that it's possible that they were putting these around, because it says they work as modern day pylons, that they were putting them around because they had the same kind of technology maybe we did to communicate with, you know, people that live over here and these people that live over there. It's not like how cell phones or radios work. Oh, it's spiritual. Oh, really? So they were thinking more like an than a more like something like a supreme being, like you are saying. But so you don't think that it's possible they are receiving God? So would they touch it? Do you know that? Like, was it something like they would like touch to feel like vibrations through or something, or like how statues work? You mean like statues of like Hi, Minnie. Do you mean like how statues of like, a religious statue or something that people, is that what you mean? They would pray to it? Because I'm just wondering, because they said that crystals would run through it. The certain materials that they would use. How do you use statues? Oh, you're quizzing me. I'm just wondering if maybe they were actually no, because they didn't show any like devices like phones or anything. They probably never found. Oh, like a prayer channel. That's interesting. That is very interesting. See, you're smart. I could see that. You know that? I could actually get. Do you think they would feel vibration? Real fast. I'm gonna text you a link. My nephew is wanting. Can I send you a link? Yeah, I will. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, my channel is not, that, great or anything, but yeah, I would definitely, and he would get 20 free hours on StreamYard too. Yeah. Do you think, yeah, feel the vibration, like a vibration? That would be amazing. Oh, oh my God, I just had like this, what do you mean with the charismatics? What does that mean? You're so smart. I would have never thought like that. But how amazing if they would feel a vibration, right? Now, do you think if there was, no, because if there was thunder, wouldn't it have already? If but that could be what the signs of looking like it was scorched could be. You're welcome, Minnie. What is a charismatic? What do you mean, like a pastor? Not okay. Pastor? Is that how you say it? Pastor. You know how words don't sound right sometimes when you say them, and you're like, that doesn't sound right. Is it pastor? No, pastor, minister. Could you imagine though? I mean, those videos in the church where people start talking in tongues. Yeah. And that, I mean, I've heard of that. And there was a woman who said that there's a church around, like near me where they speak in tongues. But I feel like the vibration, like you were saying, is so many. I got the text, but I'm getting that right now. Thank you so much for sending it. I appreciate you asking me. I really, really do. The speaking in tongues. I wonder if it's the same kundalini. Wow. See, you are so smart. There's a, yeah. Kun, I keep thinking I'm going to say like kundalini. Is that, was that like a tribe or is that a religion? I appreciate you too, Minnie. You've always been you still are such a wonderful friend to me. Is it a religion, kundalini? See, I'm gonna have to write that down. Kundalini, and it spans all cultures. That's a good question. Did you see that, Lemon? I mean, he's asking if you're an empath. I think, I think, I think yeah, I think he could be. Is the energy that gets awakened when you're in a state of spiritual ecstasy. Like when people are in worship, right? People are worshiping and they start, like, yeah, I get that. Sometimes when I'm listening, I am a bit of that, yeah, but a lot more. He's very smart, very smart. We had a rocky start, lemon lime. I always thought it was lemon lime, like kind of like turducken, turducken, turducken. But he's so like is he's got to be an empath because he actually is, he came and he said that he was thinking about what happened, between us, and not between us, not like we ever had like a between us kind of thing, but and talked about it. And I think that is so, respectable in a person that, I feel like we all grow every day. Like right now, this is, I am learning so much because I just couldn't, in my mind, I keep going back to these ob, oblet, 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 right? I keep going back to them and thinking that I want to know what they were receiving and what they were transmitting. So they were transmitting their prayers and receiving like spiritual enlightenment. But I would imagine that would be amazing to feel it. Like if it gave vibrations or it could be really powerful, because it's what, 70 feet tall, 240 tons. Now imagine that wouldn't be something. Hey Dominic, how you doing? For some reason today you had put like a comment on one of my videos and then it disappeared. I don't know if you deleted it. I know I didn't. But I always find it odd how YouTube, they delete good comments and then they'll keep up the like the spam ones, I get a lot of those. So weird. But so I just want to let you know I didn't get to read all of it. I saw some of it, Dominic, but I appreciate you. So, appreciate your friendship. You've been like, a friend. I appreciate you guys. I want you to know that. I really do. Sometimes I'll be sitting and that's with the COVID, we all feel like, but I didn't see one that went away. And don't erase. Oh, good. Well, don't erase them, but I can't. It says comment, but I did see one that went away. I don't even know how to erase them. Well, I'll go back, but yeah, one. Maybe you'd put the other two afterwards, but I'll go back and see the other two. Yeah, we were talking about, like the power of these oblique. I know you're at work right now, but how, I don't know. You'd have to go back through the chat because Thank you, Minnie. I appreciate you guys. I think we're all amazing. I think it's, that's the thing. My name, the Survivor Girl, I did that. I put that because I feel like we're all survivors in our own way. And we've all survived so much. Thank you. I know you and we've like gone through a lot of stuff together and feel very close to you. You're one of my first friends, tight friends on YouTube. And I feel real strongly about you. And I feel like we've all come through things that we thought would just, we wouldn't survive. And I don't mean necessarily like physically. I mean, just, you just feel like, throwing in the towel, but we survived it. We, you know, got back in the saddle, and, and I think that's why I picked the name originally, like, 2 years ago, is because I feel like we're all survivors. So I respect you all and everything that anybody has or is going through. And that's why I like to do these live streams. I feel like you end up developing some friends, and this is a place for us all to just chat about things. I like that. And I'm really into this, like, oblique. Thank you. You enemy, my enemy, you friend, my friend. Thank you, Minnie. I appreciate that. My sister from another mister and another mother. Yeah, but you know what they say, you can't pick your family, but you can pick your friends. And but sometimes people's families are great too. And I think one thing I was looking at, because I try to look up the inspirational things and everything, and one thing somebody was saying was that joy and depression can't go hand in hand. So if you look for the things that you are grateful for, yeah, the discouragement is keep doing the right thing. The only way to fight discouragement is with gratitude. It's hard to be miserable and be grateful at the same time. Joy and depression cannot reside in the same place. When you get depressed, get grateful. I'm alive, I'm breathing, eating, and let it be your bridge over troubled. Aw, thank you. I believe, yeah, it's a lot. You know what? You mean the world to me. I was thinking about the other day when we were on a different channel, and um, it was funny. We were laughing and laughing that day, and it was when I used to think that song, "Gonna take my horse to the old town road," and I used to think it said, "Gonna ride to the liquor store." That's what I thought it said. It doesn't say that. And me and you were cracking up, and you were like, "I'll go with you." Like me and you on a horse going to the package store. I don't know if they call it package store where you are. And then we were like talking about a drive-by fruiting. We were gonna throw oranges at people. Do you remember that? And then some mean people came into the room, and they were being mean to us. Sorry, I can't stay up past night. It's nice that you stopped in, though, Dominic. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. I don't know what time zone you're in, so I would try to maybe like I don't know what time is it where you are now. It's 2 p.m. where I am. Yeah. So next time maybe I could try and make one when it's good for you. We got 'em. Yeah, it was like it was, a particular one woman that didn't seem to like me in this particular live stream, and she came in and was just like, ugh, you know. So like, he was sitting there laughing, having fun, and then all of a sudden, oh, thank you for reminding. I always forget to, remind about that, especially, the thumbs up thing, because, um, especially with me, because, oh, it is the same as me. Oh, so you go to bed early, Dominic. You sure do. So when I make them for 10, so that's too late for you. So even 9 would be too late for you, right? What about on a weekend? What time do you have to be up in the morning? You must have to be up real early then. It's 9 o'clock. I don't know that I'd be able to go to sleep at 9, but last night, in the middle of my live stream, right near the end, I just got real like tired feeling. Like my eyes were tired, you know? Thank you, Minnie. I appreciate that. Really do. Remember that particular live stream I'm talking about too, Minnie? And they had that the wild boar and the bear like grabbed it. Were you there for that? And it was the weirdest thing ever because we were convinced that, this bear had killed the wild boar, you know? And, because they like dragged it off camera, and the wild boar, you remember that? Were you there when the bear, hey XX, how are you? But it was like this wild boar and these two bears, okay, were sitting there. Now, this boar had been hanging out with these bears for so long, and they had never like done anything. And the boar knew that the bears were the ones kind of in charge. So he looks at this bear. Now, mind you, it's in another country, so create. Uh, you're too funny. You said the name. You're too funny, man. I was trying to not say the name. You are killing me. You knew exactly then. You knew exactly what I was talking about. You're too funny. I was trying to like go anyhow. So okay. So this bear, these two bears and this boar, and it's nighttime there, like midnight or something, and it's whatever time it was. Okay, watching it. It's live. It's live. It's funny. And so not she. See, now you got me thinking that. So this boar looks at these bears like, okay, is it okay to come over and eat whatever they're eating? And the bear looks at it like, yeah, okay, it's okay. And so kind of gives it a nod, yeah. So the boar goes over, and because we were calling it like pig bear or something at that point, because it was, there for so long. Now, normally boars will hang out with other boars. So, but here's this boar hanging out with bears, just hanging out with bears. And so it's pretty much right next to this bear eating. And all of a sudden, and the other bear is a couple of feet away, all of a sudden, I just burped. I'm so sorry. Excuse me. I didn't mean to do that. That's so embarrassing. Um, this bear jumps on this boar, okay? I mean, and the other bear so the boar, of course, is making this noise, and the other bear is running around in circles, just like in a panic, like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe it's happening. In the meantime, the boar is staring. Now, mind you, the cameras are far away. You can see, but they're installed far away on this particular live stream. But they are pretty good, like that you can see. But I don't think there was a camera operator that night at that moment because I'm pretty sure there probably wasn't. Uh, because everything was like infrared, and this boar is staring up at the camera, and its eyes are glowing, and it's making the worst noise. It was so sad. And the bears got it by the neck, not the front, but like kind of from the back. And the other bears running in circles, not like gonna attack the boar, but just like it's in a panic. And it drags the wild boar off camera, right? And the whole time it's, like staring into the camera, the wild boar making this noise. Oh, you did see that? Yeah, like, because I was so shocked, right? Right. And the way, get this toe, Lemon. Okay, so you notice how the boar stopped squealing when they got off camera? Everybody was convinced that that boar was dead. That's what we thought. Okay, it got off camera. That bear, snapped its neck or did whatever, and that's why the noise stopped. You know that a month later, that not that boar, was back. It was back. It was the same boar. It was a little worse for wear, it was thinner, but it definitely didn't look like it had been shredded up or anything. And it was back eating with the bears. And I'm like, wow, we were in shock that the boar came back. And we know it is the same boar. And it's like they did it for views. The animals, not the people, but like the animals did. The way this boar is just staring into the camera, it could have been staring anywhere else, but it was like it knew where the camera was, and that camera is not close. But it was definitely strange. We were so convinced that it was dead and it was alive. So I don't know. I just thought maybe like they got off camera and maybe they were like, "Hey, all right, buddy, that's enough. We're friends, remember?" The two animals. Yeah, right. He's Survivorgirl. Hey, yeah, he came back. Or she. I think it was a girl. I don't know if it's a girl or not, but who knows? Man, I don't know, I'd be so hard pressed if I saw a bear somewhere. I'd be like excited, out in the wild. I'd be like, oh my God, it's a bear. And then I'd be like, wait a minute, it's a bear. Then I'd be like, oh, I better not run. I better just sit down and cry. Please don't hurt me, Mr. Bear. I'd be wishing I had like a pack of bologna to give to him. Anything, anything. Maybe I should always carry an extra sandwich, just in case. Not like there's bears all around me. That'd be the best thing to do. Always carry, like an extra something for wild animals to eat, just in case when you're hiking. That'd probably be better than pepper spray or laying down, playing dead, or anything like that. Would be to throw something to them, okay? That maybe if there's like a slight hole in it, okay, okay, okay. Something that would be difficult for them to open, but they could smell it. Like a Ziploc baggie, right? Zip doubled, only with like a little hole in it so that they could smell the meat inside, but it's still kind of, and then you throw it to them and walk away slowly. Back away slowly. And then have maybe an extra bag, depending on how far your car is, extra bag of lunch meat. Because I think they wouldn't be able to undo a Ziploc baggie. They'd shred it off eventually. It would take a little while for them. So it would distract. They'd much rather have lunch meat than me. Right? Who wouldn't? I'd just be, they wouldn't want me. There's no point in, there's nothing tasty about me. I'm bitter. I've never seen a moose out in the wild. Has anybody seen a moose out in the wild? I've never seen a moose in captivity. Have I? I don't believe I have. Nope. And I certainly wouldn't want to run into a moose, like it was my car, because I hear they do like, major damage. So I wouldn't want that. My friend said that he lived in Maine, and where they would, I don't know, like where the dump was for them or something like that. He was driving out of there, and he looked in his rear view mirror, not his rear view mirror, but his side view mirror, and there was a moose so close to his truck that you could see the breath of the moose was like, his breath was leaving, fog on this guy's side view mirror. That's how close it was. Which is so messed up. What if he stopped real quick and like the moose whacked its head on a freaking rear view or side view mirror? I would be like, how could he be that close? Oh, but he was that tall. He was taller than the truck. Mm-hmm. And I hear they can swim. I heard moose can swim. So that's kind of messed up too. Because that would be freaky. And how fast can they swim? Another question. Because if I was out swimming in a lake and there was a moose out there swimming, how long do I have to get away? Because that's certainly something that I need to know. Even a beaver would scare me if I was swimming in a lake. I'm not going to lie. If there was a bullfrog next to me and I was swimming in a lake, I just can't even tell you. That is really, if there was some long bullfrog, and they are so long and they are so big, and they make that, you think they would, yeah, right? I think they could be slow. I'm surprised they can even swim, like being how heavy they are. Like, how is that even possible, right? That they could swim. Can't like hippopotamus swim too? Isn't that crazy? Oh, look at a whale, right? Those are huge. They could swim. Amazing. Oh, well, no, they're not. Yeah, yeah, frogs though. Bullfrogs. They make like an unnatural sound. They don't like really like a regular frog. They make some kind of a mechanical sound, and ugh. I could actually imagine like a frog horror movie, bullfrog horror movie, where it's these frogs with extra long tongues. Oh, anything can float, huh? See, and cats don't know that. You think a cat can float? I wonder if a cat could float. Huh. I'm not gonna throw it in the water just to find out or anything. But it'd be funny if, like, eventually they figured it out and they were like, "Oh, just floating around." Can you fill up the tub? We want to float. But oh, my horror movie about bullfrogs. Okay, extra huge bullfrog, right? Extra sticky, extra long tongues, and they just kind of, you know, they flick out their tongues and they can grab you, and then like just I could see that happening if they were, extra huge. All of them, like if there was like four and all four got your, and then one came, wrapped his tongue around your throat, you're fucking done. You're done for. Drag you down into, you know what? They don't even have to be extra huge bullfrogs. Like if 4 or 5 bullfrogs ganged up on you in a lake and they all got you, I don't know how long their tongues are. They could possibly wrap around ankles and wrists, drag you down to the bottom. You're done for. Did you hear about Tracy? She got drowned by bullfrogs. I don't know. Maybe I'm not like, the biggest, bravest person when it comes to wildlife, or I do like being outside and I do like camping and I do like the ocean. It doesn't mean that I won't go do those things at all, but I do fear, you know, any cicada or worm or, quite frankly, even a big ant. I'll tell you what, I was camping a couple of years ago and I always get those yurts, right? They look like a Adirondack, like an igloo. And this particular one, it had this light outside, and they're already erected structures, but they're great. If you can find a park, state park with yurts, I would suggest that, getting those for camping trips. But if this particular one had this huge light on it on the porch that seemed like it wouldn't go out. Let me tell you what this light did. It attracted every daddy long legs in that park, in those woods. And these were not daddy long legs that were, of regular size. These were things that were the size of your hand. And they're poisonous, Daddy long legs are poisonous. And they would, now, mind you, these yurts have, they have floors and the door locks and all that. They're not like real easy to get into. But what they also have on top is like a skylight where, and yeah, I'm kind of thinking like that the spiders probably get in there when, in between people, like in between campers, like if somebody leaves the doors open, whatever the case may be. Bottom line is, every time, my friend that I went camping with would go outside for some reason and I would be alone in this yurt, 6 or 7 daddy long legs would come out. And I'd be surrounded. Now, you don't know, like me, you don't know about me and spiders, but I have a severe arachnophobia. Right now there is a spider that is like, it's living somewhere in my house and I'm allowing it to be there, but I don't want it to be there. It's not huge. And I've had a discussion with it. Right? So I keep an eye on it, but I just today said, I can't have you there. I can't. And I feel bad because people will say, oh, don't kill them. Just put them back outside. Yes, they are poisoned. Poisonous. They are poisonous. Yep. Spiders, I don't know, they're friendly. I mean, maybe perhaps they might give you a love bite that has poison in it and they don't know. As I said, this particular spider that is somewhere where it doesn't really bother me, but it does, but it's not in a spot where I could touch it. I could touch it if I wanted to, okay? But I feel bad. People go, oh, don't kill spiders. Just put it outside. Well, I can't carry this to the outside. In fact, I don't want it in my hand unless it's crushed in a tissue, right? So its choices are, uh, it was to stay where it is, which it's been doing. Really? If you say to a daddy-long, like grandfather, grandfather, where they will lift their leg. No, sir, thanks. Did you try that before? And which leg do they lift? Just one? Maybe they lift a leg all the time. See, I'm not going to go look for one to try it. Like, even if I saw one, I wouldn't want it alive um, long enough to find out. I mean, I'm not even kidding. I might get as far as grandfather, whap, that's it. You know? And even then, I guarantee you that if one of its legs come off, it's going to be freaking wiggling on the floor. Okay? Its leg will be wiggling around on the floor. And I don't like that shit, man. Oh, right now I just got a chill from it. Oh my god, I have goosebumps right now. You don't even know. Oh my god. You should have seen the spiders. We're around, like, look, I have absolute chills right now just from talking about it. Oh my god. We live around where they have brown recluse spiders. Those are poisonous, you know. My friend got bit by one. It was inside his slippers, and it bit him. And frickin', he ended up in the hospital. He lost 40 pounds. I mean, yeah, I'm not good with those. Yeah, half. So anyway, the other one that's in my house that I made, like a deal with, that I would let it live. I noticed, it's getting like a little bit bigger because I don't know. And I said, I don't know how much longer I could take it. Letting it live. I don't really want to kill it. I don't even want it to hear me talking about it right now, quite frankly, because it might like do a preemptive strike and that. It's been behaving and I really like it. I might let it stay. Wink, wink. You never know what they hear. I'm just saying. I honestly don't think that spiders are friendly. It's not like, you go, you walk in your tarantula and people are like, oh, is he friendly? Oh, yeah, he loves kids. He loves people. I mean, How do spiders? Oh yeah. You know what else I was thinking of? Okay, so this may sound crazy, but listen to me. So this may sound crazy, like as if that's so different from any of my other ramblings, right? But like I keep saying, and nobody seems to care. No, sir. Maybe they just think you're crazy, Tracy. But it's hey, I did, I did. Yeah, I'll text you back on that. Um, but oh my God, no, I forgot. Oh, what I was thinking is this. So if dinosaurs laid eggs, right, to have babies, which they did, and birds also do, isn't it possible that maybe some like you know how like they used to have these flying bird like dinosaurs, isn't it possible they were like fertilizing each other's eggs and just you get this big old bird, half dinosaur, half bird? I mean, I was reading like some of them were like 500 pounds. Not the dinosaurs, but these birds, like what are they, Velociraptor or something like that. I'm sure Lemon would know the right word. Velociraptor. I'm not a big dinosaur expert, but I'm just saying, like why are birds the closest things related to dinosaurs? I would think alligators would be, but maybe not. But why are birds the closest thing related to dinosaurs? They don't really look anything alike. Kind of like a dragon or something. I know I'm just rambling away today. I felt bad because I was kind of bitchy, like in my video this morning. I guess not even just kind of, but I was. But I felt really bad because, all in all, I'm kind of, here it is. It's nice out and everything, and it's such a long road, and I guess nothing is ever how we plan it. But so I just kind of woke up in a kind of different mood, and it's just, it's, who knows? So anybody got anything they want to talk about? Anything on anybody's mind? That Lemon was going to get up here and talk about obelisk, obelisk. I got to practice saying that word. I really do. But I'm so amazed at it, and I really can't imagine like how powerful it must have been to if that would and if that did like pick up vibrations, I would be afraid of it toppling over. And I wonder if any of it just I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. This game went away. The time is at 2:22. I still want to do a show on Michigan because I think that there's a lot of interesting things in Michigan. Oh, I don't know if XX is still here, but are you? I have to read. Are you still here? Because I wanted to say to you that I saw your text or your message about Area 51, and that I wanted to tell you about this incident that I had read about at the. I had to learn how to pronounce it. Puget? No, Puget. My God, you know what I mean? Puget Sound. How do you say it? It's in Washington State. You know what I mean, right? And it was like 2 weeks before Area 51. And I thought it was just, kind of interesting. It was talking about these six donut shaped objects that were in the sky, and how one of them had started to show signs of maybe having some kind of, difficulty, and it was like shuddering and shaking around, and then it released this like lava like substance into the sound, and it actually hit this guy's boat. Oh, you saw a bobcat, huh? Now, do they hurt humans, bobcats? Or are they just more like going for people's smaller animals and everything? I don't even think I've ever seen a bobcat either. I mean, I thought I did one time because it looked way too big to be a cat. I was hanging out with a skunk. That's no lie either. And it really did look like, way bigger than a regular cat. And the skunk was eating the cat food. And it was behind these standing buildings where, not even abandoned buildings, they were just closed at night. I take places that are closed for business and call them abandoned. I'm exploring this abandoned building. It's just a local convenience store closed. But yeah, so for some reason, these people there would put out cat food in the back near the dumpster, and there was like some little track of woods there, and I would, uh, like me and my friend would go there and I don't know, weed maybe. This was a while ago, and there would be this skunk with this humongous cat. I did get your message. Listen, but I have a second appointment after that one, so it's all right. I'll just go to those so that it doesn't, because I didn't realize that there was a second appointment that they had scheduled for after it. I didn't know that you needed to know right this second. I'm sorry. My bad, my bad. I was rambling on about bobcats. So I'll go. I'll be all right. I'll just conference call it with my daughter or something. Because I didn't realize that they had scheduled two appointments in the same day. You remember me talking about this monster that keeps getting animals and starting or not caring for them? The ducks are. Yes, I do remember that. Why did you finally get the duck, Otis? The duck's name is Otis, right? Dogs too. They gave her two more horses. That's so messed up. Why would somebody keep? Did, I mean, I want to prudently. Did you hear me when I said what I said? I'm so sorry. I don't know if like if if prudently heard me. I can't believe she got two more horses. The lady that you're talking about, Minnie. And you've like made multiple complaints, I think, right, to the animal cruelty and everything. Don't say that. Don't say that. See, but that's so crazy. Like you would think, animal control would be. That's what I'm saying. They don't do much. These agencies. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and yet she keep going and getting one. So is this like on in your property, the place where you're living too, or is it like she's got this huge farm or something? Because maybe that's it. Maybe she might keep going out of state, and people, you know. Well, it is to the point I am still watching this happen. They better do something. I promise I will. Why do you think she does that? Keep starving her to death? Does she just not have the money? Is it like is she taking these animals in like a foster and then not having the money to feed them or something? Like that's just so weird. I mean, a duck. Like, how hard can it be to feed a duck? Even that's crazy, right? Well, that's like I was saying earlier about even the problem is she is her landowner, but her land is two sections of my park and she fixed it, but there's nothing I can do. Ah, in between the two different sections of my park. Well, what does she do with them after they pass away? Like, what does she do with them? This doesn't even make any sense to me that she would, even want to keep doing something like that. Starving an animal is, a long, like I would think that, not that I know. The saying is like a long, painful death. Starving anything would be, you know, painful. I remember this lady in my mother's, or where she used to live, and then nobody knew that the woman had like pulled a midnight move and moved out. Um, and I remember nobody knew though. This woman never said she was going to move or anything. And I remember, you'd go walking down the hall and um, you could hear cats meow, 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 meow. And then, as it turned out, when they finally figured out that this woman had moved and the apartment manager went in there, the two cats had died of starvation. Like people, I think they just thought they were just people's cats meowing because there was, multiple apartments. I don't think they knew that, uh, the cats were in there dying. And the fact that she just locked these cats in there during the summer and left them. But you know what? Here's the thing. I think the pack of dogs help eat. Oh, that's horrible. Ugh, what a shame. Awful. That's awful. Here's the thing with the woman, with the moving out with the cat, like left the cat. We think she moved, right? But people, you don't know if somebody really moved. Yeah, you don't know. Like she could have gone missing, and because she's an adult and maybe had no family, maybe nobody even reported her. Isn't that crazy? After watching all these shows that I watch, I mean, now thinking about it, it could be possible that where we think, oh, how horrible, she, skipped out on she made a midnight move. That's our automatic assumption and always has been that that woman made a midnight move. But she was likable, right? Everybody liked her. Everybody seemed to like her and stuff. She'd been there for a while. Like, it wouldn't make sense for her to just, make a midnight move and leave her cats, though. Right? Even if you were going to do that, you could still take your cat. So, right, but it is uh, revolting. But I just keep thinking about like how all these years, the first thought of those cats is, I always thought that she pulled some midnight move, this woman, and now looking back, I think how easy it is to think, oh, somebody did that, and if they just went missing though and never came home from somewhere, then I don't know. You know why it got me, got me thinking that is because when I was watching that, when I was watching that show, I was watching before I came on here, and it was about Rodney Alcala. He was on the dating game, and he was a serial killer. But how in '68 he had like kidnapped this little girl and was about to kill her. She was like in a puddle of blood in his apartment, and her neighbor had seen her get into this strange car, and so had followed and then called the police, from outside of this person. At that time it was a stranger, but when the police got there, and he manages to escape, okay, and go to New York and change his name and murder people there in New York. And then in '78 he's on the dating game. I'm sorry, the dating game under his own name 10 years later in that state. And I found it odd that, the cops you know, didn't say, oh, good, here's our man. Here he is right on TV, we've been looking for him for 10 years. Nah, yeah, it's messed up. Yeah. He didn't feel like insecure at all to go on live television with his real name, even though 10 years earlier he had ran from the cops. Was there like a statute of limitations? Oh, you run from the cops for, you know, trying to kill and rape an 8-year-old girl? I mean, really? And he even, like I was saying, the girl picked him for the date too. That's how charming a serial killer can be. Like Ted Bundy, charming, but I guess he was weird. She's lucky. She's lucky she didn't go on a date with him. That's for sure. But they said that a lot of the reason why is because a lot of them, they want to be seen. These serial killers, they want the fame. Like to him, he must have been like inside laughing to himself because he'd been killing for a while. At that point, it was only within weeks or months that they ended up arresting him for being a serial killer. So it wasn't like he didn't have the taste for killing when he was gonna go on this date, trying to get this date with someone that he most likely probably would have killed. She must feel so lucky. I wonder if they have an interview with her. I'd like to look that up to see if they have an interview with that dating game contestant that canceled the date. Because that would be interesting. She must just feel so lucky. Can you imagine? Family law. Oh, he's in family law? I see how people do because it's good or be just a fix them. My family law, yeah. Could you just imagine? So you must just, somebody must feel so lucky. That is something where she must look back on that and think, oh my God, because she uh, dodged a bullet there, I'll tell you. I didn't know that they don't make you go on the date. I thought that they made you go on the date and then, talk and find out about them. I didn't know that they gave you the time to talk behind the scenes and then, you know, cancel if you wanted to. I thought it had nothing to do with like being able to look at them or talk to them after and then decide. I thought it was like based on you're talking to them without seeing them and then you have to go on the date. Uh, to be together with the father and a law man of thing and he's like game one. Well, look at that Green River. Not is it the Green? No, not Green River. Golden State Killer. He was a cop. Yeah, they looked for him for years. He was actually they were calling him initially like the original Night Stalker too. He was doing that for years. For years. There's even a picture of a town meeting where he's there, right, as law enforcement. And this guy stands up in like in the town, in the town meeting, and he says, because I guess this particular, that Golden State uh, killer or whatever was he, he's always been he would like come in, break in the house, rape the wife in front of the husband, and then kill them both. And then he ends up this guy stands up in this town meeting and he says, "Oh well, if anybody does that, to me, and breaks into my house to do that, he says I'll do that. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that." And so the guy in this picture, like there's an actual picture, okay, of him like patting him on his back and being like, "Oh yeah," everybody was, "Oh yeah, yeah," like making the guy feel good. Oh, do you know that that was the next couple that got killed? That guy and his wife. And he did it. They said it was one of the more horrific murders. That guy, he he sat there listening to this guy say that, patted him on the back, all the while thinking, "You're next, buddy." Isn't that crazy? That is so nuts. Can you imagine? He probably, yeah, he probably knocked on the guy's door and said, "Oh, we're just doing like a neighborhood check." And it wouldn't surprise me if that couple was like, that'd be interesting to find out too, to find out if there was any signs of, a breaking in it, like forced entry, or if they just let the perpetrator in, that particular couple. Because it would make sense that they may recognize the guy, as a police officer and be like, "Oh yeah, sure, come on in." And just let him right in. I bet you he got into a lot of places like that, stopping around saying, "Oh, we're just doing a check." Somebody made a call saying they saw people, somebody lurking around, and you let him. They let him in. And he was like for 20 years or even longer. God knows how many, right? It's so messed up. Mm-mm-mm. I'll tell you. There's a new one out that I saw on, I think it's criminally listed, maybe, or case solved, something like that. But it's called, Lisa Ziegert. It's like, that's the name of the girl that, was murdered. But that particular case was in, the town that I lived in. When it happened, they actually had featured it on Unsolved Mysteries. It happened back in '92, and that town is kind of small. It's a nice town. There's not much crime there. Agawam, Mass. That's where it was, and she worked at this little card shop, which it was actually down the street from my house. I'd been in there before. It was like in a little strip mall. But she also was a assistant teacher too, or something, or student, something like that. Teacher kind of as well, special ed or whatever. But so anyway, in that town, to this, it doesn't happen. Somebody going missing, it just doesn't. It doesn't happen. And what they said was, this lady, she was young too. Lisa Seegers, she was just in her early 20s, pretty girl, and they this woman went into the card shop right before it should have closed around 9 p.m. and she saw like a pair of shoes and a pocketbook behind the cash register, like as if somebody was still there. And the door was unlocked. Of course, it should be because it was, before it was supposed to close at 9. And that she like called out, is anybody here? Is anybody working? And she heard 3 thumps that sounded like maybe somebody like trying to kick the wall or something in the back storeroom, but she never went back and checked, and she just left. Now I could see just leaving because you might be scared, thinking somebody's there, but I think I would have called and reported, that it was open, and you know, I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna just leave their stuff right out in the open like that. Now remember, the lady did say that she didn't have any. The shoes were there too. So with that in mind, the girl didn't have shoes on when she was kicking. So all I'm saying is, I think I would have called the police, and I guess that there was like a. They said that there was a cop car right across the street, and um, I guess he didn't bother to check like why the lights didn't go off or anything, when it was supposed to close at 9. And so it went like a couple of days that they didn't find her for a while. And as it so happens, one of my daughter's friends, uh, their grandfather was walking his dog and in like an industrial park area where there was, some woods and everything. And he found the body. He found her body. And they said, that there was some damage done by animals and everything. So it went for a long time as a cold case, which is kind of weird because, you're in a small town and, um, you could just be standing right behind. I mean, you could be in any town and that this could happen, but, if you're in like a small town and, uh, you know, standing behind a murderer. You just don't even know it, you know? You just don't even know it. It's, one of the things that they had said, in the Unsolved Mysteries, um, yeah, Jack the Ripper. I think he kind of came back and forth too. Came from like, I think he came over to the U.S. and was doing some murders myself. I kind of feel like maybe, I don't know, they 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 never did solve that one either. But I'll tell you what, the fog over there is understandable how Jack the Ripper could just sneak right up on somebody and be right there in their face without them even realizing it. If the fog is thick. But just to, oh yeah, she was found too on Mother's Day, which is pretty sad, I mean, how sad is that, right? On Mother's Day. So anyway, so it went a while that she was not, they didn't solve it. And they ended up solving it. What I always think though is, okay, so think about this. Well, of course you don't know because you don't know the area where it happened. But what I'm thinking is, truck drivers, they really have the open road. They're always on the open road. They can just get right back on the highway. And it seems I mean, if you had somebody making a delivery, right, or looking like they were making a delivery, and they wheel up, they go to the back room and wheel up some boxes or, whatever, they could easily, especially if it was like a UPS or something that, somewhere where maybe they would have boxes going out as well, then you could easily bring up on a dolly, some box that looks like they're making a delivery and then wheel it, out with if you were just anyway, they did end up making an arrest in it. They did make an arrest years later. So, but during that time, there was another case that they never really worked on, and it's kind of like odd to me that they never really, looked into this other case. Um, it was another girl, from the same town, right? Only she was 16, and she went missing right from the school parking lot. It was just so weird. Like I was looking it up the other day, and she like went through the window of this car that was going down the highway, and the car behind her, you know, saw her come flying out the window, the passenger window. That would not be easy to jump out a passenger window feet first, you know what I mean? Like, just, yeah, it didn't make sense. And, I mean, they still haven't solved that one. So I think it's very odd that they still haven't solved it. And it doesn't seem like they've done much research into trying to solve it. So I find that odd. I'm just rambling, huh? I'm gonna end this soon anyway. But I don't mind just rambling away myself. Doesn't bother me. All shit I like to talk about. Yeah, I think if it was up to me and it was, my somebody that I knew, I would be a little more insistent because you never know. Whoever did that to the girl, her name I think was Ashley Turniak, and that's the one that still isn't solved. I would, I'm just the thought that that person got away with that one murder, let alone if they're getting away with other murders. And I was glad you were able to be here, Lenny. But able to get away with other murders, and or maybe not. It doesn't matter if they got away with one or many. It's just surprising to me that, like I said, that Agawam is a small town. There's, two cases that were mysterious cases that around the same time, these two girls get murdered. One of them is, solved now and was a big thing on, like unsolved mysteries and different shows, crime shows, and in the paper and everything was a lot bigger of a. It's it's strange. Like, why did one get so much attention? If from the same town, and it's not like there's like many cases. It's two cases, and there's one still outstanding, and I don't know. I don't understand. I wouldn't be able to rest. Let's put it that way. And if it was like my job, I'd definitely, no matter how long ago it was, I would still want to solve that case. I would not want to think that somebody else's 16-year-old daughter could get picked up in the next state and get thrown out of a car window going 60 miles per hour down the highway. I would not want to think that with the resources that, if that's your job and you have the ability to have the resources that a regular person, the regular average person wouldn't have the opportunity to use these computers and things like that to try to solve a case. If I had those at my fingertips and it was my job, I wouldn't be able to fight the feeling of wanting to make that difference. I wouldn't want to just go my life, you know, um, not trying to solve anything that wasn't right, you know, right there for, I don't know. I just wanted to make a difference. So anyway, so thank you for being here and anybody who stopped in. And I still would like to talk more on the obelief. So if Lemon ever wants to come on the panel and talk about them, that would be so awesome because I find them truly fascinating. And peace, love, and tacos to everyone, and have a wonderful day. Thank you for being here. Much love.